Hello all, welcome back to Kalam IAS Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at Kalam IAS for Essay. So today we are going to take up another topic of UPSC paper 2021, which is the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So let's now get started with understanding the basic meaning of the topic. So this is a famous proverb that originated from a poem by William Ross Wallace in the year 1865. So this is a very old poem, and this emphasizes upon the fact that during that time the mothers had a larger role to play in the nurturing of the child, in shaping the next generation. But in today's time we cannot downplay the other influences which the child has in his or her nurturing. We cannot ignore the role of fathers in the nurturing of the child. We cannot ignore the role of grandparents that help in the nurturing of the child. We cannot ignore the social circle. We cannot ignore the education. And we cannot ignore the personal experiences of the child. Okay, so here the game lies in this broader interpretation of this topic. The student who broadly interprets, who goes beyond the role of mothers to other caregivers, he or she will be getting more marks in this essay paper. Right? So coming to the brainstorming session of this paper, we need to have the major 5-6 dimensions of this particular essay, as I already told you. So in the first place, you need to explain to the examiner that who personifies the hand that rocks the cradle. Here you would talk about the broader interpretation of the topic. You would go to other caregivers, right? Then you would explain the role of parents, the role of mothers, the other caregivers in the early phase of life, and how do they actually govern the future? How does it help the child to take important decision making? How the child's future is shaped by the influence of the mothers and other caregivers. Then you would come to the counter argument part of the essay, that it is not that we do not have misplaced nurturing. Okay, we have misplaced nurturing as well, along with good nurturing. So what are the susceptibilities of a misplaced nurturing? Okay, then we talk of the nurturing, which is a two-way process. That means the person who is getting nurtured, he or she, the child, has an equal influence over the person who is nurturing the child, right? So this is a two-way process. Then we come to the way forward. So coming to the introduction part of the essay, so I have taken the anecdote of Albert Einstein over here in the introduction part of this essay. So you all know Albert Einstein was not at all a bright student during his school days, right? So during his school days, a significant moment happened that shaped the course of his life. What happened? One day a note was sent by his teacher to his home. Albert Einstein was very young. He was unable to read. Therefore, he asked his mother to read it aloud, to decipher that note. So his mother read it aloud. Tears were welling up in her eyes. The letter conveyed an extraordinary message, that his teachers believed that he was so much brilliant that they could no longer provide the education that he deserved. They foresaw him changing the world. His mother, now filled with pride and determination, she took the matter into her hands. She purchased numerous books and began teaching him herself at home. This nurturing environment eventually led Albert Einstein to become one of the 20th century's most renowned physicists, profoundly now impacting our daily lives. Later in the life, after his mother's passing, Albert Einstein had grown up. He was now able to read the letter. He uncovered the true contents of that letter. Now able to read it for himself, he learnt that his teacher had held an entirely different belief on him during that time. The letter expressed doubts about his ability, stating that he would never achieve anything significant in his life. Surprisingly, Albert's tears weren't shed for the harsh words, rather for the unwavering faith and compassion his mother had shown him, right? So he cried only for his mother's faith and compassion which the mother had shown on him. So we must be thankful to Pauline Einstein for not giving up on her son. She never believed that her son was not going to become something in his life. She always showed compassion and love can really change the future. So had it not been for her, we couldn't have witnessed the greatest of the scientists for the years to come. So this is how you should build up the anecdote which justifies the wholesome meaning of the essay. Here in this anecdote, the importance of mother's nurturing on the child has been shown. Then comes the first dimension of the particular essay, that who personifies the hand that rocks the cradle. So traditionally you would explain that the hand that rocks the cradle only personified the mothers, and this stems from the historical association of mothers as the primary caregivers for the children in their early years. But this saying can be interpreted more broadly today to represent the influence of the various caregivers who play a significant role in nurturing and raising a child. They are fathers, grandparents, adoptive parents, foster parents, social circle, education and personal experience. So here the key aspect is that the nurturing and the influential role in a child's upbringing is not necessarily limited to the biological relationship which the mother has with the child. Then at the individual level, you would say that the parents are the primary caregivers who influence the child's life. They're responsible for nurturing and shaping their children's values, belief system, their character. You can take an example over here. Okay, our Prangnadha, he went to reach the FIDE World Chess Championship final at just 18 years of age. And thereafter he attributed his meteoric rise to his mother's sacrifice and father's support all through. Okay, so this highlights the importance of parents' influence on the nurturing of the child. Then you can tell about the teachers and mentors, how they can be a guiding light to the child. They can impart knowledge, values and life skills and leave a profound impact on the upcoming generation of the society. You can take the example of Dronacharya, how he nurtured Arjuna's archery skills and moral values, and because of which Arjuna became one of the legendary warriors in the Mahabharata. Then you can talk of the societal level, how the religious and the spiritual leaders also played their role. Shankaracharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Guru Nanak, they all heralded a movement of change and reformation in our society. They nurtured our society by teaching various values of love, tolerance, and unity. They inspired the spiritual growth and social harmony. Then the humanitarian organizations you can talk of, that how Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders like institutions or organization, they also can play a crucial role in providing the aid, relief and development assistance to the region affected by crisis. So they are also helping in nurturing and raising the population, the children, the teenagers. Then at the national and the global level, you can also talk of the various freedom fighters. In case of India, it is Gandhiji's non-violence movement that united a diverse nation like India. So he also nurtured by his he also nurtured our population through his values of satyagraha and non-violence. You can talk of Nehru, how he led the foundation for modern India with his focus on education and secularism. You can talk of Patel's integration of princely states that fostered the value of unity. You can talk of Ambedkar, how he championed the social justice and equality, being the architect of the Indian Constitution. And you can also give example of Rani Lakshmi Bai and her valor and her bravery, which inspired the generations. Then you can also talk of the contemporary time by giving example of Google, Facebook, now Meta, then Amazon, Apple, and all other technological giants who have enormous influence over the information communication and the global economy now. Then you can also talk of the authors and the media figures, how the writers, filmmakers, media personalities, they are creating content every day aimed at children, young adults, and how they are shaping our perspectives, our value system and aspirations in the society. So this is how you have to make your arguments and examples in order to justify, in order to show that who personifies the hand that rocks the cradle, right? Then we come to the second aspect, that the role of the caregivers, how they have influenced, how they help the child to take better decision making in his later life, how they govern the future. You can talk about the Polgar sisters experiment, how it demonstrated that whatever early education one child gets, the intensive education care one child gets, that when combined with dedicated practice and the parental support can lead to exceptional skill development. It can challenge all the traditional notions of innate talent, right? So here the importance of nurturing is shown. Okay, so first case you can talk of the values and the morality, how the mothers and the caregivers, they instill moral values, ethics, principles in children that help them to make good decision making in their later part of the life. Okay, then how the educational foundation, it sets stage for the person's future academic and intellectual pursuits. Then how emotional stability and resilience that comes through a supportive environment during the childhood, that helps the person develop a healthy self-esteem, a good interpersonal skills, how socialization is essential for fitting into society and forming positive relationships. Then how the qualities that are instilled during the childhood can be extended to the workplace. For example, employees, those who have strong foundation in ethics, responsibility, teamwork, they can positively influence the culture, the work culture and the productivity of the organization. Then how leadership and responsibility that is taught in the childhood days, that can shape an individual ability to lead and make responsible decisions in the future. Okay, so this is how the role of caregivers in the early phase of life that can go a long way to rule the world. Then continuing with this, you can also talk about the cultural and the identity formation, how teaching them about the different cultures, traditions that can influence their sense of bonding, sense of belongingness towards one's culture, towards one tradition, right? Then we come to the next dimension, that is what are the susceptibilities of misplaced nurturing. So it is important that the child's life is inspired by love and guided by knowledge. But when the nurturing is misplaced, it can be directed towards destructive and harmful pursuits. You can talk of the over controlling of children or over critical nurturing. So that can breed resentment in children who feel that their autonomy, their independence, their individuality are not respected. Then this way we can also stifle their growth. Okay, so we can make them less resilient and adaptable in the face of future challenges. Okay, when we become very overprotective towards children, when we continuously overprotect them, when we shelter them from all the setbacks and negative experiences, then we are making them less adaptable to face the future challenges in their lives. Okay, then how the vulnerable individuals like this, those who are less adaptable, less resilient, less matured, they can be easily radicalized, leading to violence and terrorism. Then the manipulative leaders also, they can have their influence resulting in the extreme actions and mass suicides. You can talk of the individuals who are lacking their independence, their individuality. They are lacking love and support from the family. They are vulnerable to the hate speech, to the online hate, to the disinformation, to the cyberbullying. Okay, then you can talk of that the individuals who are lacking individuality, they can very much involve in gangs and criminal groups that can lead to crime and other social evils in the society. Then you can talk of the next aspect of the essay, that is how the nurturing is a two-way process. So this process of nurturing isn't a one-way street, because the caregiver also should be getting support from the child who is getting nurtured. So those being nurtured also play a very crucial role in helping their caregivers grow, indirectly influencing the world. Okay, here the caregivers also will get support, guidance and values. Okay, and this blend of caregivers and the caretakers, the children who are getting nurtured, the blend of two that can offer fresh perspectives, inspiration and personal development. So this dynamic interplay will foster mutual growth. It will influence the world indirectly through the values, through the insights and the experiences shared between them. Then we come to the ways how to foster healthy nurturing. We can talk of the gender neutral context over here. Okay, so for healthy nurturing, we should have the responsibilities in the house shared. So the responsibility should be shared across society to promote gender equality. We should break the gender stereotypes associated with the nurturing. Women need not be the only caregiver in the home. Fathers can also share the responsibilities, support work-life balance, right? Then we have to set boundaries with love with respect to children. We should provide them structure, guidance while allowing them to explore and hone their problem solving skills, but within boundaries of love and support. Then we should encourage independence as well. We should give children opportunities to learn and grow through the age appropriate challenges. It's not that we should overprotect them. We should celebrate their effort and growth in order to build confidence in them. Okay, so we should be focusing on their effort and progress, not just achievement. We should be celebrating their effort as well, and we should be offering them support. We should not be concerned about giving solutions to them, so that they learn how to face challenges by themselves. When we provide them immediate solutions to every problem, then they become spoon fed. They will be less resilient. They will be less adaptable to the challenges. So we should be guiding them to face the challenges by giving them assistance, by giving them support only. Okay, then we should be promoting self-compassion. We should be helping children develop self-compassion so that they can learn from mistakes and bounce back. We should be also involving open communication where children will feel very comfortable expressing themselves freely. Right? So these are the ways for healthy nurturing we can write. Then we come to the conclusion where we have to complete the circle. We have to take the reference of the anecdote from where we started. We have to connect back to the introduction. So here you can take the words of Marian Wright Edelman, who said, "You really can change the world if you care enough." So this change begins by recognizing that every hand, regardless of who it belongs to, has the power to nurture, guide, and ultimately shape the future of our world, just like Pauline Einstein did by rocking her cradle in the right way. So this is how we can make a short reference to the anecdote from where we started the essay. Right? So hope you are clear with this topic. The topic here that we have discussed today is much about the broad interpretation. You should not stop your understanding limited to mothers only. Right? Are you clear? So we are done with this topic's discussion. Next, we would be taking some other topics of this particular year. Until then, goodbye, take care, happy learning.